Hey songwriters, now if you've ever had those moments where you've thought your songs are not good enough, that you're not talented, that you can't sing so you're not a real musician, and you're worried that you don't play an instrument so it's going to hinder your songwriting, or that your demos don't sound professional or you don't know how to produce your songs when they're finished. I want to be very clear on this, you have been lied to about songwriting. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that, because I've mentored over 3,500 songwriters here at Songwriters International, and I see these same misconceptions day after day, time after time. And these myths don't just confuse people, they literally stop people from writing songs and reaching their true potential. And they create this invisible barrier, almost that you shouldn't be songwriting because of all these different myths and beliefs that you have. So in today's video, I want to break this down. I want to share with you what those biggest myths are. What are the things that you've been lied to about songwriting, and how can we then overcome those problems and be able to reach our true potential and write great songs and be the songwriter that we've always wanted to be. Hey, Danny here, founder of Songwriters International. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We help songwriters develop their craft by sharing tips, tricks and techniques on all things songwriting so that you can go and write your best possible songs. So let's dive on into this and go through the myths. We're going to start with the first one. This is the biggest one. It's that great songs just happen. That great songwriters somehow just go to their instrument, find a song out of thin air. It goes on the radio station, and before we know it, it's the song that we all sing and love. Somehow they're able just to find a simple set of chords. They're able to start singing something. Da 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 da. And it's releasable, but the reality is it's much more difficult than that. This is the myth that creates, for me, the most unrealistic expectations. 9 times out of 10, the song doesn't fall out of thin air, it doesn't fall out of the sky, and the songwriter doesn't hear the song straight away. Now, there is moments for sure where inspiration hits and you can be a little bit more inspired than others, but most of the time, it's very rare that that happens like that. The thing that songwriters don't see is the behind the scenes, it's the construction of the song. Everybody just sees the final piece, but they don't see the lyrical technique that was put in specifically, the melodic catchiness that was used by the songwriter, why they chose that structure as opposed to another structure, why they chose that melodic riff as an intro instead of introducing it after the chorus. A great song is engineered, it's shaped, it's refined, and then it's edited. And as I say, all the best songwriters on the planet have the tools, the strategies, the systems in place to be able to give themselves the fighting chance to be able to write song after song to a very high standard. And the truth that nobody ever tells you is that a songwriter who writes hit songs is usually just a songwriter who has learned structure, learned about melody writing, learned about writing hooks, learned about crafting lyrics, and learned how to finish songs. So if you're sat there when you're writing a song and thinking, why is the song not flowing for me? Why don't I like that lyric? Why don't I want to finish this song? That does not mean you're untalented. It just means you haven't built the toolkit yet to be able to overcome those obstacles that every single songwriter faces, whether that's a beginner songwriter or a really advanced songwriter who's writing radio-ready songs. And the great thing for you is you can learn the craft. And we're going to go through some techniques here in this video where we're going to look at how we can develop our songs using specific techniques that we can use in that process. Myth 2 is you either have it or you don't. Now, the amount of times I see songwriters commenting this on our online posts is crazy. They say, you know, you as a songwriter, you either have this skill or you don't. You either can sit down on the guitar and it just happens to you, or it doesn't. And it's so far from the truth. I wish it was the case, but songwriting is a craft. This idea that you're either born with the skill or you're not is absolutely crazy. If you struggle or you overthink or you get stuck, people often look at that you're not meant to be a songwriter. Just think about that for a second, how ridiculous it is. Because if that's how the world worked, we would never have doctors, surgeons, architects, athletes, chefs, engineers, designers. We would have absolutely nobody with a skill. Nobody comes out of the womb knowing how to do surgery or how to operate on a body part. Nobody is born with the skill of being able to do a triple backflip. The truth is that they learn. They train, they get coached, they get feedback, they get support, and they improve over time. And songwriting itself is absolutely no different. Songwriting is a skill in the same way as all of those things that I've just listed. And skills are built over time with craft. And for sure, talent might affect your starting line as to where you are on that journey, but it will never affect the finish line, where you can actually end up and where you can be as a result of the hard work you put in. What actually creates great songwriters that I've seen, it's consistency, it's volume, it's actually finishing songs, it's learning the fundamentals, it's getting feedback, and it's rewriting instead of quitting. And just to share a different perspective on this for a second, it's like going to the gym. You don't walk into the gym one day, do a few curls, and walk out looking like an action hero. You build strength over time, you build muscle over time, and songwriting is the exact same thing. Imagine all of the parts of songwriting, melody, lyrics, structure, chord progressions, as muscles on your body. And you are exercising all of those muscles. You have your melody muscle, you have your lyric muscle, and they get stronger and stronger the more you exercise. And after enough repetitions, you'll start to write things that actually land, but not just land, hit, and go on and be taken, or tracks that you feel are worthy to be released. Myth number 3, you have to be able to sing to be a songwriter. Now, this is one of the biggest myths that I see, and I'd absolutely love to call it out, because so many people believe if I can't sing, I can't write songs. And I want to say this very, very clearly. Songwriters write songs. That's it. Now, yes, some songwriters do go on and perform their tracks, and some of them are artists. But there's a massive world that you don't even understand right now of songwriters who are behind the scenes, or as I will say it, behind the curtain. And the reason this myth actually really hurts people and can stop them progressing is because people think that they have to be both. They have to be the artist, then they have to be the writer, they have to be the vocalist, they even have to be the producer. No wonder people feel overwhelmed. But the truth is, in the simplest level, is that your job as a songwriter is to write a great lyric, a great melody, structure it correctly, and allow the other parts to do their own thing. If you look at famous songwriters that you may or may not have heard of, but if you look at Elton John, very, very talented. He had someone behind the scenes, a songwriter called Bernie Taupin, who did a lot of the songwriting with Elton John. You look at the famous songwriter with over 30 plus #1 songs and is the record holder of #1 songs. His name is Max Martin. That guy does not even sing on any of his songs. He's not gone out and performed them. He's not gone out and released them. He's the guy in the studio that every songwriter, but also every artist, goes to because they know this songwriter is going to do the job of writing great music, because that is their role. They're not there to go on and perform the track. And here's the thing, if you can't sing yourself, but perhaps you want to demonstrate your idea, you can still do that. You can still demonstrate your idea with a basic recording. Whether you sing in tune or slightly out of tune, it doesn't matter, because all you're trying to do is show the idea. Then the artist, then the performer can get that picture and go on and do their thing with it. You don't need to sing like an artist, but you do need to be able to write like a songwriter. Songwriting isn't about a perfect vocal, but it is about that emotional lyric. It is about that melody that is catchy. It is about making sure you have the right structure and the right rhyming pattern at the right time. Myth number 4 is that you have to play an instrument to be able to write. Now, this myth is huge, especially for beginner songwriters. They think, I don't play piano, I don't play guitar, so how am I possibly going to write music? But in 2026, this is one of the easiest things to overcome within minutes, because you don't need to be able to actually pick up your guitar, go to piano, produce songs to be able to actually make music, make chord progressions for your songs. You can use tools, apps, softwares that will do all of this for you. You can literally build the foundations of a song musically without even putting your hands on an instrument. Now, my example for this, and this is a place that I use a lot, even as a guitarist, even as a pianist and someone who produces songs, I go to this website here that you can see. It's called Chord Player. It's a very simple concept. All you have to do is drag the chords into a sequence at the bottom of the bar without any knowledge, and you can click play and it will play that chord progression over for you. Then the beautiful thing from here, you can just start to write. You take all of that focus off of the instrumentation, you've got a set of chords in a sequence, now get back to what you do best, write that damn song. And now finally into myth number 5. All production has to be professional. Now, this myth here alone causes a lot of procrastination, as I've seen having mentored literally thousands of songwriters to this point. Because a lot of songwriters will have a song that they believe in, but then they will say, well, it's not finished, it's not good enough, it's not ready to be sent on anywhere, I can't do anything with it. And then on top of that is the expensive production. You know, you're going to be paying hundreds of dollars, hundreds of pounds for a good quality production to be to that level of radio worthy. So what do you do at this point? You are spending hundreds, if not even thousands, before you've seen any return back on your song that you've put your money into. And coming back to this, and it's a common theme throughout all of these myths, your job, again, is songwriter. It's not to be the producer. Remember this, it's not your job to be the person that is singing the song. Your job is not to be an instrumentalist. Your job at the core of it is to write that song. The thing is with production itself is a separate skill. So is mixing, so is mastering, so is social media content for artists. That has its own place, its own box. And what you can do instead is you can just focus on what we call a demo. I'm sure you've heard of the word demo, but what does that actually mean in context of songwriting? A demo for me is something that is incredibly stripped back. It's not a full radio ready finished production, but it is something like a guitar or a piano accompanied with a vocal. Because the truth is, a great song is a great song. Whether I perform it to you here on the guitar, or whether I fancy it up with loads of layers of production, pianos, synths, drums, it's still the same song at the heart. So what you need to focus on is making sure you have that song polished, finished, and done. Once you're at that point where you're ready to take it to a next level, focus on just the basic elements of that song. Like I say, the vocal and the guitar, that's what's going to shine. Then what you're going to do, because you are the songwriter, you're not the person that wants to sing the song, you're going to allow that song to then be pitched, presented, or sent to other artists who are going to show interest in your track, because they're going to realize that a good song is a good song, however you try to package it up. Then from there, a lot of these artists will have their own production teams in place. They'll have people that they rely on, and they will go away and do that side of the deal. They'll produce the song, they'll perform the song, they will release the song, and all you had to do was write the lyric, write the melody, structure that song out, put some music to it to a basic level, and then allow it to be sent. So all you're wanting to do is get it, like I say, to that demo level. And I want you to understand that a great song survives simplicity. And if you keep waiting until everything sounds perfect, you may be waiting a very long time, because from experience, there's never really that perfect song that exists. There's always you wanting more for the production, for the melody, for the lyric. And especially when it comes to this stage of the songwriting process, where you're producing a song up, it's never going to be perfect. So get used to just getting it to that demo level, because finished will beat perfect time and time again. All you want to do is demonstrate that idea for the place that you want to go on and send it for. So now that you know these myths, I don't want you to have them hold you back any longer, having these misconceptions get you frustrated, get you held up in the songwriting process. You can write your best possible songs with just not believing in these myths. Now, if you want to see how I actually write songs myself, I've also got a video which will be coming up around this video in just a second on my complete process of songwriting from A to Z, how I take a song, how I go through the journey, how I plan it, build it lyrically, melodically, structurally, the production. I go through everything. So somewhere around here, you'll be able to see that video. You can click that and head on over to my complete process. And if you're looking for more one-to-one support, guidance, and help where we can dive into your songwriting and I can walk you through where you need to be for your goals, and we can look at the obstacles that are maybe holding you back a little bit, then you can book a one-to-one call with me in the description below. Click that link, head over to the calendar, book a call, and I absolutely love to see how I can help you and your songwriting and get you where you want to be.